Good morning and Jai Sadgurudeo to all of you. My name is Situraj and I joined the Satsang from Connecticut. Welcome to the weekly English Satsang organized by North American Institute of Vihangam Yoga. Before I begin, let me offer my prayers to the feet of Sadgurudeo. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Deva Maheswara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. In the current times, our day-to-day life has become busy in fulfilling our physical and mental requirements and social responsibilities. In the fast-paced routine life, the requirements of the soul are often forgotten. So, first of all, I would like to congratulate each one of you for taking some time from your busy schedule to fulfill the requirements of your soul through satsang. Let's move on to the next phase of the satsang. We will now proceed to Sansmaran, or the memoir holds as the memoir that holds a special place in the satsang. Sansmarans are the first-hand experiences shared chronologically for us to be able to live the moment. It is easily understood, remembered for a long time, and guides us through the righteous path. Our speaker for today is Dr. Subhash Chandraji, who is a sincere disciple of Sadgurudeo and inspires us with his devotion. Subhash is from New York and works as a practicing doctor. I think he's a psychologist. Um, we have had the opportunity to listen him in the past satsangs and indulge into deep spiritual knowledge. I would like to request Subhasi to please take us through the Sansmaran. I would like to correct. I think he's a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. Over to you, Subhasi.
Jai Sadgurudeo, and thank you, Riturajji. And thanks to all for making this possible. Sulbha Soniji for this wonderful yoga and pranayam session. My prayers in the holy feet of Sadgurudev. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Okay. So today my presentation will not be a Sansmaran, but more of Prachar Prashar and what kind of people we may come across and what we can do, what we are capable of doing is important. So yesterday in a meeting we were discussing how to deal with different people who have totally different understanding of meditation. So there can be multiple categories of people we will come across, and not every person is out there to listen about Vihangam Yoga, Sadguru, and everything else that we talk about in our day-to-day life. I will try to discuss different categories of people and what they can be told in order to make it very customized to their needs. That does not mean that I'm belittling the importance of the word Vihangam Yoga itself. That just means that initiation has been done, multiple human beings, people have been initiated, but more important is how many of them are consistent with this knowledge, with this spiritual knowledge. So it means for people to understand the importance of what is being given to them, a more important aspect is what do they need. When we begin from there, only then they are more accepting, and to their benefit, they practice it and they get what is the ultimate goal. A simple way to say that would be, let's say, the patients come to me. To all the patients, I am a psychiatrist, and there are few medications which would work on every patient. But every patient has come with a totally different set of issues, different set of problems. There are 1,500 different diagnoses. And I must customize my approach towards them for them to be accepting of me. And as I said, I try to use day-to-day examples. When you visit a physician, even if two physicians have the same degree, same qualification, you choose not to go to one and you prefer the other one simply because they listened, simply because you felt heard, you felt the customized approach. In a similar manner, when we go for prachar, prasar, it's very important to listen first to the person whom we are talking to. Listen to their needs. What are they longing for? What is missing? And then come back to ways to address that through the science of consciousness or science of self-realization. But to begin with, it will be customized to what they need. Only then they will be more accepting, they will practice it, and individual soul's journey will begin. So let's take an example. This is the person for whom spirituality is all about, excuse me, man ki shanti, or getting free from all the stress. And this is the only reason for getting attached to a so-called spiritual organization. They have no understanding or interest in moksha or salvation. So how do you direct that to Vihangam Yoga? It's one of those easier uh, process of converting this person, not converting, but enriching this person to be a disciple. As we all know, for getting free of all the stress, we need to control mind. Rather than using techniques which act indirectly on mind, and hence the results are transient. We watch TV, our most favorite shows. In those moments, we are free from stress. because the mind is transiently occupied. But for an everlasting freedom from stress, the real technique to control mind is scientific, taught and practiced in every religion in some form or the other. And the process needs to be followed, which is the first stage of Vihangam Yoga, in which you control your mind. And once that human being controls the mind, and there is an awareness that he or she is not just mind and body and breath, but is way beyond these, then their journey will begin. Similarly, there can be another category of a person who has already been enlightened to the extent of understanding the purpose of human life. You talk to that person, he says, I'm only and only interested in moksha, salvation, God, sakshatkar, kundalini jagran, and they are deeply associated with some guru. It should not deter us from talking to them because they are already associated with some guru and they are talking about Atma Sakshatkar. They will also tell you that my guru has blessed me, protected me, impacted my life on multiple occasions. And what other proof do I need to assess whether my guru is right or not? I'm very happy with my guru. In this process of trying to approach someone who has a guru, first acknowledging that whatever you are doing is good. At least he or she is doing something right. Listen to their gyan, logic carefully. And only then we should provide our argument or present Vihangam Yoga gyan to explain the truth. We should always remember never to criticize or hurt their feelings. Rather, we should leave them with the right trigger. For example, you could ask that, do you know, or that person should ask oneself that whatever I do, is it based on body, indriya, mind, pran, or soul? So you are giving them the right kind of trigger to think in the direction where their intent is, but the path, ultimate goal is not leading there. And then you can share with them God is beyond mind, buddhi, pran, body, and share your knowledge. We all may not have the experience, so at least we can share the knowledge. So moving from Prakritik Gyan to Chetan Gyan is the only truth. Ask them about their experiences. Where are they progressing? What have and where have they reached? Based on whatever they are willing to share, they may not be willing to share everything, but you will have to give them a fertile ground where they feel comfortable in sharing their progress, their experience. And then you ask them, have you been able to get rid of the impurities of mind, such as काम, क्रोध, ईर्ष्या, मद, लोभ, मोह, etc. And to give a few pointers, then you can talk about that Vihangam Yoga is something that can help you because its practice is based on soul. It's based on the true knowledge, based on experience, and not on bookish knowledge. Let them know further that once you start doing the practice as advised, you will get the validation of the theory learned by experiencing the benefit in one's own laboratory of life. ब्रह्म विद्या दो भेद हैं, तत्व ज्ञान अभ्यास। प्रथम बोध तत्व करे, अंतर भेद समास। Vihangam Yoga helps you to get everything: dharma, arth, kam, moksha, and it gives complete knowledge. Then we have another category of disciple. Let me think of some examples that would make it more. Angulimal. We all have, if not all, most of us have heard about Angulimal. As I recall, he lived in the dense forest, and his pledge was that he has to kill 101 person, and only then he will be fulfilled, or he will be satisfied once his pledge is complete. Then comes Gautam Buddha. He was traversing through that village. People warned him, told him not to go through that jungle because of Angulimal. And again, my story may not be 100% correct, but I'm bringing it up towards an intent. So he said, Gautam Buddha said, I'm supposed to provide fulfillment to people. My job is to give them what they need. So I cannot deprive Angulimal of what I'm capable of giving. So despite everyone's resentment and telling him not to go through that dense forest, he crossed the forest. Not that he crossed, he entered the forest. Angulimal was sitting there on a stone, waiting for this 101. He was 101, he was the 101st person entering the forest. And once he would have taken the finger of this person, his pledge would be complete. Now, more important was Gautam Buddha saw Angulimal, Angulimal saw Gautam Buddha, but there was no reaction. It was quite unusual for Angulimal to see someone passing through the village, seeing him, but no fear in their eyes, no desire to run away, and nothing of that sort. So the first foremost fulfillment for Angulimal was the desire of fear in someone else's eyes. There was no fear. Then Angulimal made a loud noise, a roaring sound, to create fear in Gautam Buddha's heart. He again saw that he kept walking without any change in the demeanor and was slowly continued walking through the jungle. That baffled Angulimal. So he rose from his seat, that was the stone, came near to Gautam Buddha to say, "Where are you going? I'm asking you to stop, but you are just going." Then Gautam Buddha said, "It's not me who is going, it's you who are moving. I have stopped long ago." So Angulimal replied with laughter, sarcasm, "What are you talking about? Don't you see that you are walking and I am standing? Before that, I was sitting. I'm not walking anywhere." Gautam Buddha, with that serenity on his face, once again replied, "It's not me who is walking. I am still. I have already reached my destination. It's you who is still walking because you're not fulfilled." And then Gautam Buddha said, "Take whatever you need for your fulfillment. You want fingers, you can take the finger. Why not take my head? Because you have this garland of fingers. My head will act as a pendant to your garland. So take my head, not only fingers." He was surprised because he did not get that satisfaction that would have come from Gautam Buddha or be fearful of life. So, in a way, Gautam Buddha intrigued him that no matter what I give you or what you get, you will still lack the sense of fulfillment. The story goes on further, but my intent was to bring forward is when we talk to other people about Vihangam Yoga, one of the core essence that we have to look at, what is giving them fulfillment, and then helping them realize that they believe their perception is of fulfillment, but they are miles and miles away from the real fulfillment. Giving them the opportunity to think, to ponder over, to dwindle over their own sense of fulfillment is very important. So, regardless of the person who is as good or bad as Angulimal, that realization can come from a knowledge based discussion. And that is what we can try. We can do our best to incite in a new seeker what is their sense of fulfillment. And once it is achieved, do they really feel fulfilled? Or then there begins the need for something more? Because they are still identifying with the human body and all the associations of the human body, all the cravings, vrittis. And as we all know that we are a soul, but to identify with it is very different from just knowing it. Once we start identifying with our own soul, That realization in itself will be the first step in moving forward. And in that process, uh, how much time it is? It is already 10:08. I believe we'll end at 10. So I'll stop here and we'll move for Q&A. Back to you, Rituraj.
Thank you, Subhashandaji. I would like to request anyone that has any question or reaction or like to make any narratives on the same line, please feel free to come forward. Or anyone who has
Yes,
enjoyed. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Monica.
Rituraji, Jai Sadgurudeo, Jai Sadgurudeo, everybody. Yes, thank you, Subhashji, for bringing us this very important, in fact, in the field of prachar and prasar. Uh, I just want, I have a question, but some of the people, I think they were joining still. If you can, the second point which you mentioned, which is, I think it's very important, to learn and relearn about, a case where someone is already on a path, following a path for a few years, or somebody who has a guru by birth, right? That person has a lot of jigyasa. She or he is very spiritual. They like the hearing from different people, spiritual discourses, but they are very strict. Like they are very like satisfied with what they are doing, and they know that the ultimate goal of this human life also is very clear to them. So if you can again just repeat what you mentioned about those kind of people, like what is the best way? Like I understood your point, which I am following already. Um, as in, you hear them out completely. You said that you have to very consciously analyze and listen. What they are talking about, and then we also have to ensure that we don't hurt their feelings about what they are doing, which are already great points, and we keep it as a we keep it in mind all the time. And these are natural things that we must anyway do, anywhere in life, not necessarily just when we are meeting somebody new. So I understood all those points, but again, I wanted to request you to again, give some light on how we go move forward. So those people, they are clear what they're doing, but they still like to know, talk about adhyatam, and they initiate the idea of meeting again with you. They, although they are very clear that what they're doing from childhood, they're very happy. And like you said, they even say that they don't need they don't need to do some anything, but at the same time they want to continue the conversations, and they're just trying to, I don't know, they're trying to test you, or is it something that can help, not really help, but that's something that can induce us to share about Vihangam Yoga, final stages, or even I'm not 100% knowledgeable about that. But how do you think we should proceed? And if you can also repeat your points when you said the first point, like especially how you are trying to give them the taste of Vihangam Yoga meditation, like when you perform it, what immediate benefits you have. If you can also repeat those, that'll be helpful.
Thank you, Monica ji. And first of all, thank you for your event on 26th. That was yesterday, and I saw everything. So thank you for your commitment to Prachar Prasar. And yes, during that Prachar Prasar, we come across people who are already engaged with some guru, even though they talk about the ultimate goal of moksha and salvation, Kundalini Jagram, Atma Sakshatkar, and they are associated with a guru. So, to begin with, would be to acknowledge uh, their sense of enlightenment. That because, as you know, most people do not even understand the basic purpose of human life. So, acknowledging their knowledge, then acknowledging their guru's importance is very important. For example, if someone comes to my house and is a real estate broker who wants to sell me a bigger house, and he knows I have a potential to buy a bigger house. But if he comes and he enters and he says, oh, look, your window is not nice, your door is not this or that, I stopped listening to him that very moment. So the entry into someone's house of mind would always and always be to be in their mind to see what exactly is missing. So let's say I also like to cultivate plants. So they can say that, look, behind your house, you do not have enough land to cultivate plants. But see, that is very unique to one person. So if you really want to connect with someone, you will have to spend time. You cannot just jump on what you have to offer to them. It has always to begin with what they are lacking. And then comes the basic questions once they are open to listening to you, asking them, whatever you do, what is the basis? Is it body, indriya, mind, pran, or soul? Because we are going to discuss about the science of consciousness that begins at the level of soul. And they also know, but sometimes since they are practicing a guru, they may not realize that God is beyond mind, buddhi, pran, or body. So we'll ask this question, whatever you do, what is the basis? Most people just do, they have no knowledge of the basis. Their question would be, what are you talking about? I just practiced the mantra that my guru gives me, or whatever it is. So helping them break it down for them. What are the different techniques? Some are done at the level of mind, some at level of buddhi, pran, body. And you are talking about a knowledge which is beyond prakritik gyan, which is a chetan gyan. So that is your first entry. Second would be, if they are willing to share, you can ask, what are your experiences? How far you have progressed? So all the disciples, or most of the disciples, are so much entrenched with their guru that they would love to share their experiences. Listening to them, acknowledging them, and then asking with curiosity, do you see yourself, or that you have got rid of impurities of mind such as kam, krodh, irsya, mad, love, moh? That will be another question, because the first and foremost step where you stop your mind, regardless of which technique, which guru, the claim scientifically would be, where there is mind, there is kam, krodh, irsya, mad, love, moh. If you know to control it, it means you have been able to control the impurities of this mind. Before moving on to dissolving the mind, at least the very first stage, which is very common to so many practices, They will again start pondering that, okay, impurities of mind. Let them visualize in their head when was the last time they got angry with their kids, and did they even acknowledge it was anger or not? Then you will, after this much of discussion, you can move on to that. I'm talking about Vihangam Yoga, which is practiced based on the soul. And what is true knowledge, which is based on the experience, and so on. I can continue, but again, I want to be within the time frame. I hope I made some sense, Monica ji, and to your question answer.
Absolutely, Subhashi. Thank you very much. In fact, when you were speaking, I was making some notes. So, I don't forget. They are very helpful, and thank you so much, as always, that you take us, through the lenses of the physician, patient, as practitioners in general, and, how we can face these challenges, which are actually very, very common. Subhaji. Also, your third point about when you were talking about the story of the Ungli Mal and how he met the Buddha. So, what was I heard the complete thing, but as always, when you're talking, we are it is so nice. You break down very in detail, and I'm trying to capture and absorb in my mind. I could not grasp the moral of that story. So if you can just please repeat that, it'll be great, Subhashi. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay. So Angulimal's story, I believe, has great moral and theme. For me, I limited myself to Angulimal as a new disciple or someone whom you think is a seeker, and you here as Gautam Buddha for this current context that we are discussing. So for Angulimal, his fulfillment, his sense of satisfaction, completeness was based on having 101 people killed and having the fingers of those 101 people. When that seeker was offered, fine, go ahead, take it. Actually, his fulfillment was not on the body or the finger or the head. His fulfillment was the fear that he would see in the eyes of the people whom he would attack or he is about to kill. So if when Gautam Buddha met him, he did not provide him that fulfillment. Rather realize that how fake, how insignificant is your desire. So in the same context, helping people visualize what next. You have got this job, this is your salary. What next? Where do you get fulfilled? And when we say you, who is that you who will get fulfilled? Because the body and mind has no sense, not no sense, but nothing you do, it is never achieved. Because it is endless, limitless desire that the body and mind craves for. So here I wanted to give the example that understanding the person in their own shoes, for example, letting Angulimal visualize that getting head and the fingers will lead to nothing. You will not be fulfilled. You won't be satisfied. Helping him visualize beyond those body parts. And that is the only way we can connect with people. It needs a lot of time, patience, but it is easy to initiate so many people. But to keep them connected is helping them visualize the goal of their sense of fulfillment and the real sense of fulfillment. Thank you, Monica ji. Back to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Subhashji, for answering all my questions. Thank you so much, Surajji. I think we have another question on the chat. You may proceed with that.
How far one should have progressed in this journey of Vihangam Yoga before they can spread and try to convince about it to others? That distance would be how much you are convinced. You cannot, and again, I say it as a salesmanship. I do not mean it in the wrong way that we are salesmen, but everything, if not working, we look for what is missing. Even if you look at Swamiji's Sansmaran, there was a time when he got frustrated that none of the people whom he meets are really looking for this kind of knowledge of consciousness. So gradually coming to a different level where the people's desire will meet your customized knowledge of Vihangam Yoga. Now, how far one has to progress? There is no limit. From the day one, you are convinced about the science of consciousness, and you have that salesmanship, you have that basic knowledge. More important is not to impart the wrong knowledge. So even if it's day one and within a week you have read some basic things and you have the basic knowledge, you can always share it with someone, not the technique, but you can always discuss about Vihangam Yoga. There are differences. Some people who have progressed very far, who have been in this 50 years and had a real self-realization, when you talk to them or when they talk about it, it has a different mystic value. It has a different sound, attachment, voice, where you feel connected. Otherwise, Mukeshji, if you are believing in this Vihangam Yoga, if you understand this as the science of consciousness, which will begin once we overcome our mind or that shadow that is overpowering our soul, then from today itself, you can start discussing it with others. And as help needed, there are so many esteemed Guru Bhais, Guru Bahan in this call. You can seek their assistance when you want to spread the knowledge, and the person whom you are talking to, you feel that this person is a seeker and would love to get the knowledge, you can just reach out to many of us, any of us, for further discussion. Mukeshji, was this your question? Did I?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Subhaji. Very good answer. Of course, I definitely understand that one has to be self-convinced before you can explain this knowledge to someone else. But normally, the idea behind Vihangam Yoga is not just to know, to have, practiced and impacted oneself before you feel like, hey, it's really visible to others as well. What is a change in me that I can give an example of it? So I definitely have, I would say, a lot of interest and desire to expose this treasure trove of knowledge that people should know about it. What is the reality? And the only question comes in, somebody say, hey, how much has impacted you? Has it made a change in you? So I can't just go lie about it because I'm fairly new in a sense, even though I may have spent 1 year, but I still feel like I'm struggling with the basics of controlling my mind and thought process. I feel like I'm thinking in the right direction, but it's still It's a long way off. So if somebody asks how much impact it has made on you, then I can't say just so, it has totally changed me. I know that I'm convinced this is the path I have to go. That somebody may be on the other path, like Monica ji said. But the thing is, uh, should one have crossed certain threshold, or is there just no actually boundary? That only thing is, as long as one is convinced, that's all it is. Is that what you think about that? Thank you.
Mukesh ji, thank you for, as you said, you have been connected only for 1 year, and you are convinced, you are into it, and you want to spread this knowledge. So you are an asset to Vihangam Yoga, that you are already in that mode. Coming to your question, no two human beings are alike. So even after 1 year, if I have not seen a change or experienced anything in me, that doesn't mean you will not see it. We are talking about everyone's soul. We are talking about the science of consciousness. And before beginning anything, you have always to remember, we are just a means. Swamiji has done the prachar wherever it has to be done. The seeds have already been planted. We are just the means, maybe to water them, to give them some sunlight, so that the seed will convert into a crop. So whenever it comes back to me, what change you have seen, and what should I see? Here, I again come back to salesmanship. On Amazon, you buy things. You buy things based on the reviews. So you may not be the person who has already bought it, used it, but you are trusting what is written there. You may not have, maybe you did not have the money, that amount of money to buy that particular object, to be able to talk about it as if you have experienced using it. And that is what science is. In science, there's a hypothesis, someone does the practical and documents it. Swamiji did the practical, documented it in Swarveda. There are many disciples who, when follow the path, you will feel and experience exactly what Swamiji has mentioned. And I can vouch for that with my own very minute experiences, that you clearly get to experience what is mentioned there. So even if I may not have experienced fully, I may not have those changes, I may not be that soul. We are all built uniquely, differently, with different sanskar. That doesn't mean that you won't see that change in you. It is already documented, well explained, experienced by many people. For me, it's taking time. It is my sanskar. It's my commitment how much I'm doing it. It will take time, but I'm 100% sure that I will be experiencing the change. Back to you, Mukesh ji.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is a very good point. Everyone has a different journey, so maybe it's their own uh, willingness and their commitment that can make a change. Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
So,
Dr.
yeah, I would like to add a few things here. I will maybe take 1 minute only. Is it okay, Rituraj ji?
Sure, Monica ji. Yeah.
Ji. So Mukesh ji, very nice question you have as being young in this journey, and I will just give you some some pointers that you may think of, because I went exactly in your shoes few years ago. I joined 5 years ago. For the first 1 year, my journey was only to be able to do meditation. But slowly and slowly, I realize this is a lot more that you could, perceive from your, the sense, your mind and your, sensory perception. This journey, you have to remember, it is not just for one life. There may be many lives for us, people like you, people like me, who just joined, and we feel we are not there yet, and we may not be even there yet. So the goal is that wherever you started and wherever you are, you have to take Vihangam Yoga as a complete product. Vihangam Yoga offers so much. Just, I know meditation being a very important pillar, knowledge is another. Then seva, and seva, even to understand the ABCs of seva is just another portal. And before you even, go into seva, there is so much. But from your own eyes and experience, you have to know what, how far have you learned about something that you can give it to others, that they may benefit from. So, yesterday was a prachar prasar event that I was joining only for the second time. And I felt last week, am I really eligible for this? I had the same questions. Now, I am 5 years in this journey. You are 1 year. But I had the same thoughts last week. I was questioning, like, am I really eligible to go and do the prachar? I mean, prachar has been done, like Subhashji said. Bade Swamiji has already done the prachar in his states of deep meditation. Now, I'm talking about 100 years ago. The prachar has already been done for the 6 generations, as he said, at that time. So we are in the third generation right now. So 3 more generations to come, but the prachar is already done. Like Subhashji said, our only job is to tap the souls. And whatever we say, and if they have the seed already in them from previous janmas or this janma, not probably this but previous janma, if the seed is already there, they will revive, it will revive in them. So even from your own mouth, even if you could give a few messages to the person based on what that person is looking for, you may not have experiences in meditation like I didn't have for 2 years. I was only learning, and my only goal was to listen to the knowledge. I was attending satsangs regularly. Like I attended 99% of all the satsangs, Vihangam Yoga satsangs, during the first 3 or 4 years. I never missed a satsang. I kept hearing, and then whatever I could do some sadhana. I was doing some seva, which I think was seva, but maybe it was not. So we are no one to judge ourselves. We don't know where we are, but whatever you know, and whatever you feel that this is right, I know this much, and I can share this much about it to anybody, your family member, your co-workers, or if you're having a business, you're meeting strangers, anyone it might be. But if you're able to even speak few words about it, that is enough. And Mukeshji, it may not be what is in Swarved. Swarved is definitely the real knowledge, like Subhashji said, but we are not there yet, right? We cannot understand sometimes those dohas in depth, which is fine. But you can talk about what is Swarved, how it was written. It was written in the deep states of Samadhi by our founder, Sadafal Devji Maharaj. You can talk about who is Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. What is Vihangam Yoga? It originated from India. You can talk about our ashrams that are in India. You can talk about our upcoming ashram in New Jersey. So these are, like I said, it's a big product. You can see for yourself, like, what is something that I have understood that I can impart, because it will not be, one day will not come when we can say, oh, I understood this completely. I might have complete knowledge. I'm doing my sadhana. I'm doing everything. I know everything. I don't think that day will come. But if it comes, that's well and good. But as we are progressing in this journey, if you have the jigyasa that you want to impart this knowledge to others, nothing should stop you. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much, Rituraji and Mukeshji. I hope this will help you.
Jai Sadgurudeo. A very wonderful discussion going on. Just wanted to add a couple of things. Mukeshji, that's a very good question actually, and there's multiple ways to approach, and a couple of things to keep in mind is that first we also have to implement in our everyday behavior. And what will happen with that is then, like you were saying, what if other person is saying that how has it impacted you? How has it changed you? So our actions have to speak for them. So when they are observing, and especially in my case, I can speak about my situation, right? That when I was in the process of acquiring the knowledge, learning the knowledge, it is like a spillover, like your glass is filling enough and enough. It's never getting full, but it is spilling. So whoever is closest, friends, you will begin to actually engage in discussions with them. And that is the safest place to start with, actually, because then you will see that, wow, the kind of environment that we live in, because it has to be relevant for that environment. Because if you are in some other place, it will be a very different approach. So that's why it has, you can bell the cat in multiple ways. So the way to, at least in my case, is it starts from where we are and see, and then over time, what happens is, first, it really has to begin to make an impact in ourselves. Because if that is not happening, then I think we'll just be a vehicle for the prachar. If some event is happening for Vihangam Yoga, we should participate, we should do seva. Our focus should be seva, satsang, sadhana. And especially in my kind of situation, where people have a different, understanding about somebody, right? And then all of a sudden, if you begin to talk about Guru Parampara, then it will not work. It will be very, very difficult. So that's why it's very important. Like, let's say we are in the knowledge path. In the knowledge path, we have to make sure that we make ourselves more and more proficient with our scriptures. Not reading them, but at least understanding the essence, key elements there. Number two, listen to as many satsangs of realized Mahapurush. It need not be only our Guru. Our Shraddha, our dedication is to one Guru, but we must listen to wider, because that's what the current generations are doing. But then, unless our knowledge, our swadhyaya is not up to a certain mark, we will not know who to listen. So that's why swadhyaya is very, very important. And then we have to contemplate. If we are not contemplating, just listening, it's not going to work. Manan is very, very important aspect. So that means we are actually assimilating that information that we are gathering, but the information has to be gathered. So it's a very scientific approach. And then once we do Manan, then it begins to make an impact on what we eat, how we speak, how do we act, how do we think. And that's when I think we prepare ourselves. And then some level of purification process begins to take place in the antahkarna and indriyas. And then you'll begin to really address the boss, the ultimate boss, which is the aham. Unless we are in that machinery, infrastructure, adhyatma has not even started. Because adhyatma is sitting right above that, where the aham is understood. Then the soul, which is the basis of spiritual journey, can begin. So I think in majority of the cases, we will be belling the cat in multiple ways, depending on our own experiences, our journey. Some people may be really PhD in sadhana. They are already experiencing anhad. They're already experiencing the third level and fourth level. It's a very different situation for them. Maybe they'll get to a point where they don't even have to do prachar. So it really begins with our self-assessment. And we don't really have to become a marketing vehicle, because the world is really tired of listening to way too many marketing. And that's why Anguli Mal example that Subhasji gave is so wonderful, because there's no santusti nowhere because of that. But and then going back to the, so once we have this understanding and the knowledge of the scriptures, then we will get to the point where we can tell that, hey, in order to get this adhyatma level, the guru, the importance of guru is widely mentioned in Vedas, Upanishad, and Bhagavad Gita. And you give them, you understand the references where they are and what kind of guru they are talking about. And they're also talking about Prakat Swarup. That's why when the avatars happened, they went to a real life guru, because the purpose for the avatar was to set a benchmark for the rest of the bhakts, how to live their life. And so a lot of people who have Shraddha in a guru, and they are doing a virtual Shraddha, a long distance love affair is what I call, it will work if the guru has manifested to them. Like the way it happened with our Prathamacharya ji, where the Nadi Sadguru had manifested after penance. But that only happens in a very, very rare situation. If somebody is Surdas, Kalidas, it may happen. But for majority, it will not happen. So that is why the surgery residential project has to be done under a guru who is in a living guru, who is Brahmanist and Shrotriya. This is the word of the Vedas. And then I think we introduce the Vihangam Yoga, because then it's a very scientific approach, taking support from all the scriptures, and not just because many people are already exposed to multiple kinds of yoga and techniques. So when we approach in a little bit of this way, I'm not saying that this is the only way, but at least this is the way that I'm experiencing. And but then first it has to be implemented in our own everyday acharan. So that's what I wanted to share. And hopefully this is not like a gospel is what I'm saying. This is more like my personal journey, and everybody will have their own different, and all of them are equally valuable. But the more we share, the more we can actually enhance each other's experience and openness, and hopefully knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjanji. So, I would like to respect everyone's time. Let's move to the Santi part. We'll sit down for Santi part and we'll chant for peace for everyone in this universe. May Sadgurudeo bless the entire cosmos with peace, love, and prosperity. I would like to request Shraddhaji to recite the last few lines of Shanti part for us. Over to you, Shraddhaji.
Jai Sadgurudev, everyone. Shanti Part. हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांतिमय शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांतिमय शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांतिमय, शांति शांति सुख शांति। जय सद्गुरुदेव।
Jai Shri Guru Shraddhaji. I would like to thank all of you for joining today's satsang. I encourage everyone to ponder upon the topic we discussed today. Special thanks to Sulvaji, Utkarshji, Subhasji, Shraddhaji, Monikaji, Mukeshji, and Niranjanji for their active participation, and for the team behind this for organizing and coordinating this satsang. I pray to Sadgurudeo for peaceful and spiritual week ahead for all of us. See you all next Sunday at 9 a.m. EST on the same Zoom session. Have a wonderful day ahead. Jai Sadgurudeo.